Thank you to Duval Acura at 11225 Atlantic Boulevard in Jacksonville, Florida for allowing me to film here today. And a special thank you to Matt Sykes for helping me situate everything. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're taking an in-depth look at this 2016 Cadillac Escalade Platinum Edition. And an interesting thing about the name, there is a such thing as the Escalade Platinum. The Escalade Platinum Edition is a package you can get on the Escalade Platinum. And it's sort of just some extra luxury features. Makes it a little nicer than the Platinum already is. So this is top of the line trim with the Platinum Edition. Looking at the front here, see a nice Cadillac logo. This Escalade is equipped with front and rear parking sensors. You do get forward collision mitigation. You have these very nice 22-inch alloy wheels. You do get blind spot monitoring and lane departure warning. This specific Escalade comes in a color called Black Raven, and it has a jet black interior. It is equipped with suede microfiber headliner. This Escalade is also equipped with rear parking sensors and rear collision mitigation. You do have an auto leveling suspension, also a four-wheel independent suspension. It's also adaptive. And you get rain sensing wipers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the key. Your key here, and your Cadillac logo on the back. That's your lock, unlock, your trunk release, and a remote start. You'll make sure it's locked, and then hold this down. It starts right up. To turn it off, you just click it again. Your panic button, and one interesting thing here is this bottom one will open the whole trunk. This top one will open just the glass. So this is helpful if you need to load in, you just want to toss something in, or if you have something long in the trunk, you can keep this open. So let's go ahead and step in this Escalade. Does have keyless entry, so if I lock it, I can walk up, press this button here, it'll unlock. Likewise, if I press it again, it will lock. And every time I open the door, these running boards will come out. So if I shut the door, they will retract back in. When I open the door, they retract outwards. Once you're in here, you do really get a sense of how big this car is. It's very, very tall. We'll pull the door closed here. I'm just gonna put the key down here because it is a push button start. So I'm gonna put my foot on the brake. So taking a look at your seat here, you do have numerous things you can do. So you can, this here, you can switch between adjusting lumbar support and thigh support. So if I push down on this, it'll adjust the thigh support, and if I pull up, it'll adjust lumbar support. You got the regular forward, backward, up, down, and seat back, forward and backward. But this button here is actually a massage function. So if I click that, the seat in the back, you can kind of see it pulsating. It will massage you. And one thing that comes with this Platinum Edition trim is this microfiber suede throughout the interior. It's here, it's on the dash down there, it's on the ceiling. It's really all over the place. It's interesting. You do have a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And you get your trim plate that says Platinum on it. You do have your genuine wood trim and more of this suede Alcantara or microfiber. You do have your mirror controls here, so you select left or right, and then you can left, right, down, or up. You can fold your mirrors like so. Press the button again to unfold them. You do have one touch down windows for the front and rear seats. The front seat windows are one touch up, however the rear windows are not. Here are your presets for your seat, and this button here will revert the seat to its farthest back position to make it easiest to get out of the car. You got a little storage pocket in there, and more storage and cup holders in here. One thing about this, make sure not to try to clean it out with a wet wipe or anything, because it is I can't tell if it's a cloth or a felt lining. You do have a 16 speaker Bose sound system in this vehicle. So pulling the door closed now. It's a heavy door, and hear it as it shuts. And you can hear the running boards pull up. Anyway, moving down to the side here, you have more of this suede trim. You got your air vent, adjustable here. Above that, you get these controls for your heads-up display. So this here will adjust the location of it. So it'll move it up, down like this, so you can see it here. That button will move it up and down. This button here will change what the heads-up display shows. So if I have it right now, it shows what the speed limit is. But if I click it, I can see what music is currently playing, which direction I'm facing, and my RPMs. So back to the speed limit there. This button will adjust the brightness. So I make it brighter or make it dimmer. Moving back down here, you have your gauge cluster brightness and your four-wheel drive control. So I can twist it this way to go into four-wheel drive. To put it in four-wheel drive low, I have to shift into neutral and then I can twist it over. Or I could leave it in auto and it'll automatically shift between four-wheel and two-wheel drive as you are driving. To the left of that, you have your headlight controls. So if I twist it here, it turns the automatic light controls off. And if I twist it here again, it will turn them back on. Here I've got my parking lights and my low beams. To turn my high beams on, simply push this stalk back. Well, that's something. Anyway, back to the headlights. I will now go ahead and show you what those look like. Moving down below the headlight controls, you do have your electronic parking brake. Down there in the middle is where your hood release is, and there are your pedals. One interesting thing about these pedals, and I'll show you in a few minutes where these buttons are, but they are adjustable. So I can move them closer to me. There's my foot for reference. And I can move them further away from me. So that is a pretty cool feature in my opinion. Looking up at this gauge cluster here, off to the left, you get your tachometer. In the middle of your tachometer there, you have a screen that displays the range you have left on your fuel, but if you want to see other things, there are some other things you can see in that screen. So you can see your oil life, you can see your tire pressure, you've got your fuel economy, your battery voltage, your oil pressure, the total engine hours, your transmission fluid temperature, and a blank screen if you just want to see the whole tachometer. You've also got a tripometer, a second tripometer, a compass, and back to your range. In the center here you have your speedometer. In the speedometer you can have digital speedometer, or you could just have the whole that not be there. At the bottom there you have your odometer. There he is again. Anyway, well, like I said, this car has 88,000 miles on it. Off to the right there you have a display that shows which gear you're in. So go reverse, neutral, drive, and if I go into manual mode, it'll show which gear I am in there. Oh, and when I'm in reverse, I get a display that shows how close I am. So those are your parking sensors in the front. Because I'm really close to this tree, it detects that and lights up. That's how close I am. If it gets to here, it's like right up on your car. It's a little, and it just gets further and further away. Looking off to the right, you have your engine temperature and your fuel left. And in the middle of that screen, there are a couple other things you can scroll through. You've got your options, your connected phone, your compass, what music is currently playing, and a blank screen. And on this options page, if I select it, there we go, I can scroll through different settings in here. Moving to the steering wheel itself, this is a very nice steering wheel in my opinion. I like the way it comes down here and has this grab handle in the bottom. I also like this genuine wood trim that goes through the wheel. It's also extremely light to turn. Almost no resistance. Behind the steering wheel here is your hazard switch. And on the left is your wiper control and turn signal control, which is interesting because on this side is the column shifter. Not a traditional center shifter. You got your column shifter. And this is really cool. I personally like column shifters. You just pull it towards you and down. To go into manual mode, you pull it towards you and down a second time, and you can shift using the plus and minus located here. And on the end of the shifter, you have a button that will put you into trailering mode or your towing mode to make it easier to pull a trailer. With the adaptive suspension, it'll account for having a trailer in the back. So looking at this very full blinker stock here, you could you turn signals like that. Pretty standard. You've got your rear wiper control here, intermittent and on. On the end of the stalk, if I push that in, it will do the rear wiper fluid. I can have to adjust the intermittent front wipers here. I can do that, and to have it go just one time, I can pull down like so. For the front washer fluid, I can twist the whole stalk here. I'm not going to do it, but you can see the whole end of the stalk will twist, and that's the front wiper fluid. Here you can put it on the auto wipers. You see, turn wiper control to intermittent first. And now rain sense is on. To turn your high beams on when your headlights are on, you can push it here and flash your high beams like that. Looking at the controls on the steering wheel itself, you got a very, very nice horn button. I'll give you a listen. Just like that. Over here you have your voice control here and your call decline here. You also have your cruise control. So you set, cancel, higher speed, lower speed, and forward collision mitigation here. Sorry, your gap adjust. I can adjust how far in front of me I want before the car starts slowing down with cruise control. And I also have a heated steering wheel control there. On the right side of the wheel, these are all the buttons I was using to scroll through the 3 separate settings within this gauge cluster. So I can use this to switch between the 3 screens, and this to scroll up or down. Like so. You do have 2 volume controls here, and these controls will switch through your stations. Looking over here, you see where your start-stop button is, like I mentioned before. You've got a very nice air vent that has a nice aluminum trim that runs down and up to the other side there. I think that's very nice styling. Looking up at the ceiling, you have more of that suede material. You got a grab handle here. You do have a mirror, lights on either side, and it will come out and slide like so. You have a sunshade here that you can pull open. This disables the driver monitoring system, I believe. It says here the monitor sensor off, and I think that's the driver monitor sensor. Someone in the comments correct me if I am wrong, please. Here I can turn these lights on or off, and if it's in the middle, they will turn on when I open the door. Here I have my sunroof controls. So tilt and open. We pull this closed. So to open it, I press here. To close it, I press here. Same for that. And over here is actually where your trunk control is. So here I can have it to when I press in like that, it will only open 3/4 of the way up. And here this turns the trunk release off so that it can't be opened from the back by accident. Press it again to shut. Here is the garage home link and controls for each individual map light. You do have your rear view mirror with your OnStar and SOS right there. This here is called the Cadillac Sentinel. Sorry, it's the Twilight Sentinel is what Cadillac calls it, and it is the automatic headlight sensor. So that's neat. It's kind of a fun little dome on your dashboard. But now moving down more, we see several buttons on either side of the screen here. This will actually deploy your running boards. So I press that, the running boards will deploy, and they'll come back just like this. So beneath that is where your pedal controls are. That makes them closer to you, that makes them further away. And this here is actually how you adjust your suspension between Tour and your Sport mode. On the other side of the screen, this is your glove box opener. Your parking sensors, your lane departure or lane keep assist sensors, and your traction control. All by pressing all these, you can turn them all off. And then you have the screen itself. So the screen has a very interesting way. Some screens beep, but this one vibrates when you press it. So it like sends a little vibration to your finger, and it's kind of interesting, but you get used to it. So this button here will allow you to switch between from AM to FM. And while we're here, I'll go ahead and give you a listen to the Bose sound system. So it's a very good sounding sound system, in my opinion. Yeah. So here you can go to your media. You got your auxiliary input, your Bluetooth, that kind of thing. Here you could switch between different stations, and then you can fine tune here. You've got your browsing, so you can browse through all the different stations. And your menu, where you can adjust the bass and treble and mid-range and where it is playing from, what part of the car gets most sound. You've got all your presets down here at the bottom. So going back to the home page here, you have a shortcut to your phone, or not really a shortcut, the access to your phone. You can pair a device there. Projection. To use this feature, you need to connect a device to the USB, but it will project your phone screen onto here. You got your navigation, so you can see all around. You could scroll in and out, or you could zoom in using these here. Your reset position, your destination, your menu. This is where you can enter your destination. Pretty standard map. Here is your settings. You can put it in valet mode. You've got your different language settings, your radio settings, all that kind of thing. This here will pull up your presets for your radio, which is an interesting feature, but you always have access to your radio presets right there. So you got a Pandora app, you've got your climate app. So there are physical climate controls, but you can also control them through the screen. You got the driver temperature over here. You can sync the driver and passenger temperatures. You can turn it on and off. You can adjust fan speed. You can tell the car where you want air to blow. Turn the fans down a little bit. And you can go to your rear climate control. Sorry about that. So you can go to the rear climate control. You can turn it off, on. You put it on auto. You can sync the temperature to the front seat. You got your fan speed, like the same as the front. You got where you want the air to blow, and you can lock the rear seat climate controls so they can't control it from back there. If you don't want your kids screwing around with the climate controls and messing with everything, you can lock it. Back to the front. You've got your weather, so if you have Sirius XM or your XM Travel Link subscription, you can see the weather. Here you have video, so if you insert a CD disc, you can tell it when to play through here, and you also can adjust the volume of the TV here with this. You've got your texting if you have a phone connected, another way to access your rear climate controls, and if the car is in gear, I can click camera, and I get a top-down view of the car, and you can see when the tires are turned, which is neat. And you also get a forward-facing camera. And also with your Sirius or your XM Travel, you would get traffic. So you do get this instrument or this AC panel here. Here you can control all the air conditioning. You can turn it off, or this will turn the media off, actually. So these two buttons, these line of buttons here control stuff with the screen. You can turn temperature, or the not temperature, sorry. You can turn the audio off. The volume is very interesting. You slide it using this sensor here. It's weird though. If you want it even higher, you gotta like hit it numerous times. Very interesting way to do it. And then you have your home page to your shortcut to get back to your home page. Beneath that is where all your physical climate controls are. So you got your driver temperature, your fan speed. You can turn the system off. You got your passenger temperature. You've got your recirculating or fresh air, rear defroster, front defroster, and auto. Now, this car has heated and cooled seats, so if I want the full heated seat, I could just have the back of the seat heated, or I could have the whole seat cooled, and same for the driver. Here's your CD eject. And this little stack here has a secret. If I push down at the bottom, it'll open up and reveal secret storage. The rubberized floor here to keep things from sliding. And you got a USB there. Just give it a slight tap and it will shut right up. So here you do have some more of your wood grain trim. You push this back, you reveal a little storage cubby. This toggles your ice box, which I will show you in a minute. You've got a 12 volt outlet there and 2 USBs located there. Press this down to reveal 2 cup holders. And moving further back, you have this absolutely massive center console. Excuse my finger. You've got a wireless phone charger here, and if I open it up, there's your ice box. So not a ton of storage, but you can keep food cold. And another 12 volt outlet in there. You do have a couple different options for storage here, and USB and auxiliary. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the back seat. Moving around back of the Escalade, you get your same suede material on the door and your genuine wood trim. You've got a nice cup holder here, a little storage cubby there, a little grab handle here, cubby down in there. You get the same padded or felt lined storage cubby down there, and a cup holder, and also a little storage cubby behind the speaker. As I mentioned, there is this suede material all throughout the interior, even on the back of the seats. A little storage pocket there. Look up here, you do have a little TV screen, DVD screen, so I can turn it on. And there's no disc right now, but if there was, I would be able to watch it on here. So I can switch through the source. I've got monitor 4 disc, auxiliary 2, and back to monitor 3. But here you would play, pause, and eject the CD there. You also got a USB port located there, and a headphone jack right there. You got the same thing on the passenger seat, same screen, same controls. Moving down here, you have the rear climate controls. You can switch between where you want the air to blow, what the fan speed you want. You can put on auto. You could turn the whole thing off, and you've got your temperature. Here, you do get heated rear seats, which is a nice feature to see. Not super common, but then again, this is a top-of-the-line Cadillac, so it's kind of to be expected. You do get a little storage cubby here, and a auxiliary inputs here, and a USB port, and what I believe is your SD card for the navigation system. Looking at the ceiling here, you can pop down this screen. If you have a disc inserted, you can play something through here. I don't understand the whole point of having 3 separate ways to display. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure, but hey, it's there. You do get some little map or reading lights, and these little air vents here. I've seen cars with these before, and one complaint I do have with these is they're very hard to adjust exactly where you want them to go. But you do have a nice grab handle with a coat hanger right there, and another grab handle to help you get up into this very tall car. So now, stepping out of the Escalade, we're going to come around here and talk about fuel economy for a minute. The Escalade takes regular gasoline and has an MPG rating of 15 city and 21 highway. One thing I do like about the Escalade is it has this very tall light. Something about it, I just really like it. So you may find yourself looking here for a button to open the trunk with, but no, it's behind this handle here, which can be misleading because it's still power. You just push the button behind the handle. You don't actually have to pull the handle. You got a little tie-down point here, as well as a little grocery bag holder there. Under here you have very minimal storage, but here are some headphones that you could, Cadillac headphones you can plug into those screens on the back there. So that's cool. Cadillac headphones. Got a USB port here. Not USB, 12 volt outlet here. And you can fold down the third row using these buttons located here. I push down on the bottom, and the headrest is up for that one, but if I push the top, it'll come right back. To lower the headrest, I just have to push in and use my other hand to grab the top, or I could, there we go. So now, it should fold flat. You have to hold it down though. So they will come back up. The second row will also fold down. If I press this button twice, the second row will fold down. Shut the tailgate and just press that button there. It shuts on its own. So while the seat is folded, I'm going to go ahead and step back into the third row here. You could climb through the middle as well. This headrest, as you saw a minute ago, will go up. Just got to give it a little bit of inspiration. It's not the easiest thing in the world to push up. But now that it is pushed up, I'm going to pull this seat up. And the footwell is okay. It's not terrible, but my legs are super high off the seat, so it's not the most comfortable. If you really wanted to, if no one was sitting in the middle, you can stick a leg out that way. A little more comfort. But at the end of the day, for a short distance, you still get a good view out the window. You're still pretty high up. It's not that bad of a ride. You get two little reading lights as well, and a coat hanger. You also get a giant cup holder, so you can have some giant drinks back here. Got a little storage cubby down in there, and two cup holders with a 12 volt outlet on this side. You also get your Escalade floor mats, all weather floor mats there. This armrest these armrests will move up and down too, which is cool. So now we'll climb back here to the middle row. And I want to talk about these. This will fold the seat like that. And this little tab here will do the same for you if you're sitting in the third row. Got a little storage cubby here. Your unlocks and locks. The passenger seat has the same adjustability as the driver, including the massage function. Now, as I mentioned earlier, to open the glove box, you press the button there. Nice wood trim along here. So, let's go ahead and talk about this massive engine under the hood. To access the engine bay, you're going to want to come around to the driver's side here. Pull this little tab. Come around to the front. There's going to be a tab underneath the hood right about here. So you're going to want to pull to the right. Once you get the hood open, you are greeted by this massive 6.2 liter Vortec V8 engine. This engine is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and puts out 420 horsepower as well as 460 pound-feet of torque. It will carry this Escalade from 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. This thing can move for how big it is. And let's go ahead and give it a listen, shall we? One thing I did mean to mention is this car has some very cool entrance and exit animations. So once I come in and shut the door, it will slide from the gauge cluster to there. If I start it, you see how the gauges sort of swoop in. Then when I turn the car off and open the door, it flies away. I want to say thank you again to Duval Acura for allowing me to film here today. And a special thank you to Matt Sykes for helping me set everything up. I also want to thank you guys for watching this video on the 2016 Cadillac Escalade Platinum Edition. You all have a good one. Bye-bye.